So I want you to join me in welcoming today. It's Not Your Grandma's Branson, Jeff Seifried.
Thank you. That was excellent. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right. All I heard back there was something about we get a discount on office furniture today. I don't know if you heard the same thing, but something about 51%, so I'm very excited to go shopping right after that. You can't hear me either. Well, good afternoon, everyone. So happy to be with you here this afternoon. A couple of things real quick, housekeeping, of course. I want to thank Logan and 417 magazine and all the publications for making an event like this possible. They continue to push and pull this community forward through events like this, and I'm very appreciative of them putting this together. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kind of an interesting topic, Not Your Grandma's Branson. You would not believe the controversy that stirs up. How many grandmas have actually called me and said, Branson is no longer for me? And of course, that's not the case at all. Branson is for everyone, including grandmas. Let's talk about grandmas real quick, or grandmothers, however you address them, mumas, whatever you say in your home. Let's go ahead and talk about that for just one moment. I do want to clarify something. It's Not Your Grandma's Branson. What we're saying today is not just your grandmother's Branson. So for the recording, Facebook Live, whatever videotape we're doing, not just your grandma's Branson, to all the grandmothers out there. Again, real quick, before we define grandmothers, Not Your Grandma's Branson, not just your grandma's Branson, really makes you think of what, right? Makes you think of the old tired days of Branson. The old country western music shows your grandparents used to go see, the buffets that they used to line up to go see, the buses that they used to sit in for hours at a time, frankly, past the timeline that was acceptable. That is what you think of when you think of your grandmother's Branson. And so today we're going to cover a number of topics, but most importantly is why it is not just your grandmother's Branson anymore. It makes me think of, frankly, a place that I would never go, right? You go to your grandmother's house, obviously, but you wouldn't want to go to the place that she likes to go to, like that weird shopping thing in the strip center that smells weird, stuff like that. You don't want to go there. And so for many years now, we've been transforming the perception of Branson, and that's what we do each and every day. So, the perception of Branson many, many years has been where entertainers go to die and old people go to vacation before they die. And so, I know, but trust me, the emails are going to start flowing any minute. But what has built Branson, which frankly has traditionally been an older demographic, we still celebrate and embrace that today. But we've done a lot more, and I'll show you through a video. But before we get started, let's know our subject, right? And I promise this is not just about grandmothers this afternoon, but know your subject. So everybody together, close your eyes with me just one moment. Now imagine, for some of you, go back 5, 10, 15, Bruce Nasby, 60 years or more, and think of, are you in the audience? Sorry. Think of when you were maybe in middle school or grade school. Imagine we're all on the playground together, and I say, hey you, I'm over here talking about your grandma. And then, of course, maybe a fight would ensue, mainly a battle of words, of course, throwing of dirt, maybe some rocks. Now open your eyes. This is for the record. I want to be very clear. We are not talking smack about your grandmother or my grandmother today. So, no particular grandmother will be identified in this presentation. You laugh, I will get the emails. Okay, here we go. So the who, what, when, where, and why. So what is a grandmother? When I'm talking about grandmother, think of a target market, a group of folks that we're really targeting. So it's not just grandma, it's folks 55 plus. So think of that. So generally they're older, they may drive slower than the average 18-year-old, they generally have low-cost car insurance, they generally smell good. Usually they have many opinions about life, they spend money on grandkids without worry. and may have more free time than others. So that demographic, that 55 plus, is what we're talking about. Certainly a very important target group for not only Branson, but tourism across the United States of America. And of course, the trade winds have shifted on even their behavior and what they like and dislike in terms of what they're willing to put up with, if you will. So who is a grandmother? Again, that age group, a connector of the family, right? A relative with importance, someone who can command a presence and make decisions on behalf of the family. So when is any time, right? They're retired, anytime. Why? Because they want to stay connected. And of course, where is somewhere the whole family can enjoy. Because when you're 55 plus, and I don't want to speak for anybody, I'm not pointing at anybody right now, but when you're 55 plus, yes, it's about the experience you have with your family, right? And that is through research. I'm not making this up, not all of it. And so we know this for a fact. And so when we create the messages of Branson, and when we created the messages in the past, they were geared towards that 55 plus crowd who had the free time, who was able to come to Branson, who enjoyed the product offering we had in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And of course, you'll see, and you know who have been there, that messaging has changed, the product has shifted, and what we say is the trade winds have certainly shifted. So three topics, now that we know kind of what we're talking about specifically. What the heck really happened in the 80s and 90s? What was our brand message in Branson then and why? And of course, what is the brand message now and why? What the heck happened in the 80s and 90s? Those of you who were in the market remember this moment. And it started way before the 80s and 90s. It started with the building of the dam. It started with the bald knobbers. You can go on up into the 80s and 90s when, frankly, when we had family acts that you know of, Presley's Country Jubilee. We had the bald knobbers. When it was real gritty. I'd call it gritty. It was the entertainment that your grandparents knew and loved, right? And it was not accessible. That's what was crazy. It wasn't accessible everywhere. It was a formal side of entertainment that was usually the fiddle in a small town, right? The Friday night hoedown. This was the formal side of that. And that's what Branson was. Now, when you got into the 80s and 90s, you had country music stars like Boxcar Willie, Mel Tillis, Jim Stafford, of course, Ray Stevens, Mickey Gilley, Mo Bandy. They all opened theaters. They started flocking in. Stars such as Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn, Waylon Jennings performed in Branson, along with a number of other household names that, frankly, you would know, your parents would know, and certainly grandparents would know. Names that people saw and became accustomed to and invited them. You've heard this before. You invite someone in your living room through the TV, and you develop a connection through the TV with that person. That generates more excitement and more buzz, and that engages people to take action to go actually pay money to see someone, whether that's whatever type of performance. And that's what we had in Branson. Silver Dollar City, of course, opened in the 60s, and that was just getting kicked off and rolling. And the real deal was 60 Minutes. You remember that 60 Minutes ran the special and called Branson the live music capital of the universe. And there were many other wonderful things said on that 60 Minutes show that sparked a lot of interest across the United States. I'm going to get this wrong, but Gary, $1 million a minute. I made $1 million this month, or whatever that was said on the show. And it was very fascinating because it really piqued everyone's interest in the opportunity of what live music could be from what it had been. So, Branson, right? Town of 10,000 people. How are we serving 8 to 9 million visitors a year with an $11 billion economy? Before we get to that, let's talk about what was our brand message then and why. Well, the brand message catered to the largest industry, which was live entertainment. And so this is really fascinating because from a business attraction standpoint, traditionally speaking, or a visitor attraction standpoint, you're going to what? You're going to whittle with what you got. You're going to market the product that has the most bang for their buck. And so at that time, it made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense to showcase Andy Williams. It made a lot of sense to showcase Mo Bandy, and go on down the list. Although the issue was you're hitting a specific target of the market. And so as those folks, big names, the household names, start to turn over, whether they left or they left, either way, as they started to turn over, so did their loving audience. And so the brand message was very narrow. And that's interesting. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. You know, more theater seats than Broadway we celebrate, which is a blessing and a curse. Back in 2000, we surpassed 100 live shows. Today, more than 146 live shows in Branson. And so there's no doubt that the live show industry is still the very viable and driving part of our economy. But the message has to change. And that's what we looked at in the last 4 years. Since the early 2000s, the live entertainment industry has been on the decline. So if you go back and you look at all the indicators across the board, the numbers look like this. This is the graph. Until the last 4 years. And I'm not going to say we're going to take all the credit, but that's exactly when we changed the brand messaging and our target audience to some degree. At the end of the day, it's all about perceptions, right? How do you get people to buy your product? How do you get people to come in your door? How do you get people, is there any hospital people? How do you get people to go to the hospital, to the right hospital? It's all about perception. So here's just a fun bit of information. So in 2015, I sat through focus groups in several major cities within a 6-hour drive time. So you sit behind the glass, and then the people are on the other side, and they've been in there for 2 hours talking about all the things that they know, love, and hate about Branson. And so people would sit there and say, yeah, I'm not ever going to go to Branson. I don't like country music. I would say, gosh, country music certainly is a part of what we have, but it's this big. And so you get frustrated, and they say, well, you know, we really like lake time. I would never go to Branson. They don't have lakes. I'm serious. Now, that comment specifically was said 3 hours north. Comments such as, boy, I didn't know you had a theme park. If I would have known you had a theme park, I'd bring my family to that. And so when you talk about getting your message through, selling your product, selling your wares, there's always a perception issue or, frankly, a factual issue. Now, let's go back in time here. We've had a national cable buy, people, for years. We spend millions of dollars in marketing Branson. And still we have people within our own, generally backyard, that don't get it. So the takeaway for me is that, oh my gosh, everyone knows we have live shows. No one knows we have anything else. No one. They kind of know, but really they don't know. And if you go back in the branding and messaging, you can see that what we really focused on at that time really was the show message, which, again, still important today. But we were not digging deep enough into the brand, into the marketplace. The other thing that comes about is we talk about competition. So in tourism and in Branson as a destination-only city, we talk about who's our competitive set. So when someone goes on vacation, who are we competing with? Well, we're competing with, frankly, free time, and we're competing with who can capture attention before we can. Because today's vacation is not like vacation was 20 years ago. It's changed a lot, right? So you still do some of the same things. So if you want to go on vacation, you write it out. But today's vacation is about, gosh, how many hours can we actually be gone for? How many days can we actually be gone for? Could we actually be entertained in our own community? Could we actually drive an hour from our own community and get a equal or like-kind entertainment quality instead of driving to Branson or somewhere else in America? So when we talk about competition, it's important, and the grandmothers behind me have the same thing now, right? They're talking about, gosh, little Johnny's at work all day, little Susie, she's at work all day. I'm talking about their kids who are in their 30s with their kids. And so we can't possibly take a week-long vacation. We have enough time to get the family. We have enough time to go have an experience. What are we going to do? Oh, look, cable TV is here. Oh, this is great. Oh, Dancing with the Stars. The quality is really good. Why don't we just sit here and watch this and we'll have dinner together. Check mark. Competition. So when I say our competitive set, we're really dealing with quality issue, right? We're dealing with the quality in which people can consume entertainment and where that exists. And most communities today have robust options for entertainment. So it's fascinating to go back and look over the last 30, 40 years of how our brand message has evolved and why it has to evolve more than it ever has had to in the past. So let's go ahead and let's see if this works. This is our What's New in 2018 video. I'm not going to show you our national cable TV spots. You get them. We run them in Springfield and around the area. They're 30-second spots, and they're really good. But this gives you a feel for the future of Branson and where we're headed.
Branson, Missouri, reaching new heights. More fun and more options than ever before. What wonders might be on the horizon for this destination on the move? Could Branson become even more exciting? Through the miracle of modern technology, top scientists have enabled us to travel through time and catch a fleeting glimpse of the future. To the year 2018. What wonders might we witness? Let's take a brief journey into Branson Beyond.
Forget what you know. You haven't seen Branson until you've seen Branson in 2018. The original superhero, able to defeat entire armies and slay lions in a single Bible story. Sight and Sound Theaters presents Samson. A world-class cast, live animals, and cutting-edge special effects bring to life the Bible epic that literally brings down the house. Your adventure awaits on the 700-passenger showboat Branson Belle with an all-new lineup of live entertainment. Enjoy meals prepared with local flair, world-class performers, and a live band while cruising Table Rock Lake. Big Cedar Lodge announces the new 50,000-square-foot indoor adventure complex, Fun Mountain, with an augmented climbing wall, 4,000-square-foot arcade, 360-degree bumper cars, themed bowling and laser tag. It's year-round fun for all ages and groups. Did you know Branson is the fastest-growing golf destination in North America? Opening in 2018, Mountaintop Golf Course, designed by World Golf Hall of Famer Gary Player, and under development, an 18-hole course designed by Coore and Crenshaw, as well as Tiger Woods' first 18-hole course, Paynes Valley, honoring Missouri native Payne Stewart. In 2018, Branson will feature new thrills for the adrenaline junkie in all of us. Introducing Branson Jet Boat, an incredible combination of fantastic scenery and full 360 spin-outs, power stops, and slides, executed by experienced captains. An adventure for the whole family. North America's first double alpine coaster, the Branson Mountain Coaster, races down a half-mile track at speeds so fast you'll think you're flying. And after the first 1,000-foot descent, hang on tight, you've only just begun. And for our final glimpse into 2018, debuting next spring at Silver Dollar City, Time Traveler, the biggest attraction ever for the 1880s theme park. A colossal world footprint spinning roller coaster never done before. Fastest, steepest, tallest, and only triple inversion spinning coaster anywhere. Custom designed with a gravity-defying 10-story drop straight down a mountainside. Coming spring 2018 to Silver Dollar City. It's time to shift your thinking, reach new heights, and go beyond what you know. It's 2018 in Branson.
Oh, thank you. A little different. So did you see grandmas in that video? It's okay, I want a verbal response. No? Incorrect. Incorrect. And let me explain why. Because as a grandmother, and remember, when we're talking about grandmothers, we're talking about a target audience. As a grandmother, you saw your family in those pictures. So when we're talking to the 55-plus crowd, they see their families, extended family, multi-generational families being in Branson. And they know that equals quality time spent together. And so the perception of you got to show grandparents with the kids and everything else having a great time, yeah, that is important, and there are places for that. And again, this is not our mainstream media buy here, but the point is, when you see this, you picture your own family, your own experiences happening on the screen. And that's really how the brand message has changed completely. So instead of going through and showing 30 different live show acts, it's not so much about the show anymore, it's about the experience you get when you're at the show. And that is what has helped grow these last 4+ years, is putting people through the lens of their family experience. Those things that they don't have anymore, right? Spending time at the lake unconnected. Oh God, that can't happen, right? Actually, it can in Branson, tagline. It's critical for our branding at least, and our positioning, to show that connection through the lens of a family member. So, what is it now, right? Clearly, we've dug deeper into the brand. Now, the product offering has shifted, to be fair, right? What hasn't shifted, we've always had the lake since the 50s. We've had 1960s Silver Dollar City. I mean, we've had live entertainment. What has shifted is the quality of entertainment to today's standards, the attractions and the quality of attractions to today's standards. And so as those things shift, then our brand message has to shift. And to do that, we dug deeper into the brand. And I think this is a lesson, right? This is a takeaway for me, is at the end of the day, you've got to continue digging deeper into your brand so you can show the experience through the right lens. Just because I can. Top golf courses in the United States of America, Branson, Missouri. You saw it there, becoming a world-class golf destination. Buffalo Ridge, Top of the Rock, mountaintop course, of course Tiger Woods in development. We are very blessed, as Springfield is, with the Wonders of Wildlife Museum, to have a great partnership with Big Cedar and all that's going on down there. Legends Golf Tournament. The Branson Ferris Wheel. Craig Westcott still here? Yes. Formerly Navy Pier Ferris wheel, deconstructed and rolled down the highway all the way to Branson. And very cool. The cool thing to me about that is community recycling at its best, right? So you took something that has 20-year history of making memories in America, in one of America's largest cities, brought it to Branson, and we put the Branson touch on it with an amazing light package that now, sure, it's a Ferris wheel, and it's a great nighttime attraction. It really is. But how cool is it not to just have incandescent bulbs flickering around? Now you have Electrify, the show that electrifies grandparents, parents, and the kids. And this speaks to that brand image and developing that new image. Raiding the Rock Vault, those of you who attended that, you saw the show from Vegas. Raiding the Country Vault is a mainstay. It's new. Of course, Sight and Sound Theater, Moses, Samson. So all those things. Billy Yates announced, he's a famous songwriter, announced his songwriter series show coming out. Snowflex Mountain, those of you who've done that. All these things have a theme, right? Everything at Big Cedar, everything just to the south, everything Johnny Morris has done. All of those have a theme, and it's quality. It's quality experience. So the trade winds have shifted. People are willing and able and want to spend a little more on quality. So Fritz's indoor adventure park, and of course, I think what's notable to me is in 2016, we cataloged over $350 million of new investment into Branson. Town of 10,000 people, right? That's a huge deal. It's crazy to think of that. So a couple of things. There's your Branson Ferris wheel. Everyone's been on the Ferris wheel, right? Yes. Craig, everybody said no. Okay. All right. So this is an interesting topic. One of Branson's most successful shows, still today. 50 plus years running 50 years. They have found the formula. They make it work. 146 shows, that's pretty hard to do. So this speaks to yesteryear, but the comedy is clean, wholesome family fun. And that's what really Branson is all about. Also, one of those things in the focus groups, just really funny, is that they didn't think that we had any restaurants, and they thought that we outlawed drinking. Just FYI. We're really trying hard here, guys. So that $350 million number is not inclusive of anything Big Cedar has done or Johnny Morris, which is pretty impressive. So from a business growth perspective, these last couple of years have been substantial. So what have we done? So last 5 years we spent retelling the story and digging deeper into the brand. Speaking to new audiences that we had never spoken to before in different sectors of the economy, different classes of people that we thought would never come to Branson, frankly, because we didn't have the right product. So the brand that includes grandmothers, the brand that spoke to grandmothers, still includes grandmothers, for the record. However, it speaks to the past in the 1980s, but digs much, much deeper into the product that we have today. And it gives you a glimpse of the experience that you can have by connecting back with your family. And that's what Branson is about. And that is the storyline that has moved the needle for us. And I think it's been fascinating for me to see this play out, because it is true in so many other messages out there, so many other marketing opportunities. You know, I love a good Dawn soap, don't get me wrong, and I believe that duck will be clean with all the oil coming off of it. And so it is telling me what the product does, and it's showing me kind of a little heartstring, but there's more to that story. Okay, cheesy example, but that's the point with Branson. So where do we go from here? So, good example, this is going to continue. This is a mainstay. Presley's Country Jubilee. It's classic, it's great. People still love it. Does it meet millennials' needs? Maybe not. But what's crazy, and I know, stay with me here, millennials get older too. Yeah, right? And they're going to calm down and they're going to love this stuff more than you will. That's what's funny. We keep winning. Anyway. One of my favorite photos, again, built on the outdoors. That's Branson that you know, camping. As some of you who know me, I'm an avid RVer camper. That's actually Craig Westcott, the Ferris wheel owner, right there with his family. And that is Sonny, the bus. He owns that bus. It speaks to, again, connecting with family. So this is a lot of our messaging that you see. Fritz's Adventure, the indoor entertainment complex, adventure park, if you will. And then last thing I'll end on this is, as we move forward, the future for Branson, and really the future for economic development for us, is about investing in events. And so behind me is the Firefighter Challenge. So this is where firefighters from across the country come and they compete with each other on everything firefighters should compete with against. Rolling up hoses, running up ladders, all that stuff. The point is, it's these types of community events that Branson is positioned for. And frankly, Southwest Missouri, the Ozarks, is positioned for. And so as we look to growth opportunities, events specifically that we can home grow or that we can develop is where we're headed. Again, family fun, wholesomeness, and that's scalable for everyone, even the grandmas. So on behalf of everybody in Branson, thank you. Thank you, Logan and 417, for everything you do. Thank you.